From the campus of Clearview High School in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, the GCEN presents high school football. Tonight, it's the Group 4 first round as the Millville Thunderbolts visit the Clearview Pioneers. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Fred Swartz. A bitterly cold evening here in Mullica Hill. Winter has come early, and it's going to be a great football game between two upcoming powers, Millville and Clearview. Both of these teams finished strong last year, Clearview losing in the finals and Millville losing in the semifinals. Two teams that have been very strong of late. Clearview winning 4 in a row, Millville 4 of their last 5. First, let's talk about the visiting Millville Thunderbolts. You know, Dennis Thomas was a great football player in his time at Salem High School. Hard-nosed, no quit in him. That's every bit the case of his Millville football team.
Yeah, absolutely, and it has to be. They started probably with the toughest schedule that any team could play. They opened up with the number 1 team in the state, St. Peter's Prep, went to St. Joe Hamilton, who's the number 1 seed in non-public 2, and then played Williamstown, who's the number 1 seed in Group 4. He brings so much enthusiasm to the team, and Millville plays exactly like Dennis Thomas.
He certainly does. He lights up the night. Just getting ready for tonight. It was exciting to talk to him. One of the players he is exceptionally excited about is Solomon DeShields. He said this kid is a phenomenal athlete who would excel at any position, and he's going to be a factor tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see him all over the field. He plays wide receiver. He also comes back, he's the wildcat back in their offense when they need yards. He plays linebacker, he plays defensive backs, and he is special at returning punts and kicks. 3-star by rivals. He's heading to Pittsburgh. At least he's verbal to Pittsburgh, but he may get more offers before the season's done.
Let's then talk about Clearview. Clearview started out this year with an exciting victory over Kingsway. We had it here for you on the GCN. They've since won 4 in a row towards the latter part of this season and really coming into this game with a whole lot of momentum. This is a team that is very disciplined. On paper, they don't necessarily scare you necessarily, but Coach Steve Scanlon and the rest of his staff have really primed this team.
Yeah, they've really done an excellent job. They only had 3 returning starters coming back from the year before. And that double overtime game against Kingsway, they had a double overtime win against Winslow Township. They learned how to win, and they learned what it takes to win.
I'll tell you who's a winner on that football team. It's their quarterback, Mike Ancona. He was very impressive in the first game, and he has continued to impress throughout the season.
Yeah, he's another one that can play any position in the field. Tonight we'll see him at quarterback. He'll be a running back. He'll catch passes. He plays on defense as a strong safety and a free safety. I don't think he ever comes off the field. He's one of those kids that you get once every 5 to 10 years, and you love him and you wish you had him every year.
Well, tonight, as we mentioned, bitterly cold. Probably it's going to be the team that runs the football best that's going to win this one. Should be a defensive grind. We look forward to bringing it to you here on the GCN. Stick around. We'll have kickoff in just a moment. Welcome back to Clearview High School. As you see, feels like 29 degrees outside. Clearview in their traditional green, trimmed in gold, kicking off to Millville. The away team, the Thunderbolts in orange and royal. And we are underway here at Clearview High School. It's a low dribbler, bobbled at the 32-yard line, hit immediately, and thrown down maybe 2 yards at most on the return. The Pioneers able to eliminate the threat of DeShields. We'll probably see a lot of that tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, the smart move right off the bat is don't allow a big play to happen early. DeShields can take the ball coast to coast any time. And I'll tell you, Rob, this is what it's all about. High school playoff football, excitement in November.
Well, we mentioned before that both of these teams very familiar with playoff football. Of course, last year, Clearview lost in a heartbreaker to Shawnee in the finals, and it was Millville who lost in the semifinals to that same Shawnee team. Quick little sprint throw, and not much there for Millville's Maurice Smith.
Yeah, first look at him. Millville has some great athletes, some that have already committed to Division I schools like Temple and Sacred Heart and those answers. They have to try to rely on speed today. If they can get outside Clearview, they think they are faster than Clearview.
Millville has quite a few talented players. Smith, who was the recipient of that last pass, recruited to Eastern Carolina. And there we see the handoff. And again, not much doing there for Vonzel Rivera.
Yeah, good contained defense on that side. Clearview, when they know that Millville has a little more speed in them, it's most important that they play their positions and play their contain. And we're going to really watch out this time for number 1, Rayshawn Tompkins, who's considered a Division I prospect. He'll be playing defensive end. You'll see him all over the field tonight.
So third down, we'll call it 12. And deep drop throw. A bullet right over the middle and caught. And there on display, you see the fine arm of Robinson and the recipient, Smith.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. He's a sophomore. If you look at him, he just loves to play football. And that could be a big difference. If Millville can pass the ball and move the ball downfield, it'll definitely be to their advantage.
At the 46-yard line, and the handoff right up the gut, driving forward. And that is the Quinn Allen.
And both coaches talked before the game about how important controlling the line of scrimmage is. Those guys up front that always go unmentioned but do such a good job, whether it's offense or defense. Here we see again LeQuint, who's already been looked at by Temple, and he's only a sophomore.
Handoff tripped up immediately. Probably a loss of a yard on that play, and that is Allen once again.
Yeah, and a little short trying to, the first series is of plays, you pretty much try to probe. You try to find out where you can find the weaknesses in the team and what play is going to be successful this evening.
So Millville kind of in a hurry-up offense here. Robbins drops, and he is wrapped up and sacked.
Yeah, first really big play by Clearview defense. They made sure they got through the inner gaps, contained Robbins so he couldn't get outside the pocket, and just put him away. And now a very difficult situation for Millville because it puts them in a deep situation where they're going to give up the football. And then watch this again. Watch, the rush comes from the outside in, and then the pocket breaks down, and the interior linemen are able to make the tackle. Our first look now will be at Michael Ancona now as Millville prepares to punt.
DeShields will be punting it, and you'll have to keep an eye on him tonight because he's liable to tuck it under and just go. Probably not here given the length of this needed yardage, and DeShields punts it away. Not much of a punt, and it takes a Clearview bounce. It'll be down at about the 40-yard line, so that punt all of about 16 yards.
And there are the things that can make a difference in these kind of games, Rob. When both teams are pretty equal, it's the intangibles sometimes that make a difference, and kicking game can really be part of that.
So we mentioned that Ancona. We'll get our first look at him. And he's a player that Coach Steve Scanlon very excited about. Said he's always the toughest kid on the field.
Boy, you got to love that as a coach.
Absolutely.
There you can see his stats, 500 yards passing. I think he's a better runner.
Ancona, he'll roll to his right and he'll tuck it under. Ancona stretches it outside, and he's finally pushed out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. They'll pick up 4 yards on the carry.
And just on cue there, Rob, our player we talked about from Clearview, Ancona, was the ball carrier, and the tackle was made by Solomon DeShields. So two of our athletes make their appearance right on the first play for Clearview in the first quarter.
There you see his rushing yardage on the season. Again, as you mentioned in the open, Fred, this is a team that really just had 3 returning starters coming into this season. I think that big win over Kingsway, their arch rival in the opening of the season, really gave them a lot of confidence, and they're well on their way. Here's Ancona, again, rolling, looking, cutting back against the grain. He's going to be in trouble. He is slung down by Millville's linebacker, Jaden Wright.
And that was a little wrinkle that Clearview runs during the year. Ancona lined up that time as a wingback. He received the handoff from the back and tries to sweep to the outside, but Millville was right there to take care of business.
So 4 yards forward and 3 back brings up a 3rd down and 9. You know, not only is it cold, it is very windy tonight. So we've seen that Robbins has a plus arm. Much the case with Ancona, but still it's going to be tough generating a lot of offense through the air today. Ancona underneath center. And again, he'll roll to his right. He'll keep. He'll look. That's a straight run. Ancona hit. Stretches out over to the 46-yard line. But that's going to be well short of the first down.
Yeah, definitely a design run all the way around to try to use Ancona's special talents, which is toughness.
Well, we saw that the Shields punt only 11 yards. Conversely, for this Clearview team, they have one of the best kickers in the state of New Jersey. First, before we talk about that, here you see Ancona trying to get the guard to pull out, but cuts against the grain. Again, getting outside the tackle is going to be tough against this Millville team. And as we mentioned, the special teams play here. And here's the Shields. Takes it at the 15. Now looks, cuts back across to the 28-yard line. First down and 10, Millville.
And we got a first look there at the Shields, who many of the experts figure in college is going to be a great slot back or a return man all the way around. And the vision that he has in the field is probably his strongest point beside his toughness.
There you see 6'2", 210-pound senior on his way to the University of Pittsburgh to play in the ACC. So one thing, Fred, is if they're going to get into the business of trading punts, then that's what Clearview wants.
Absolutely, positively correct.
So Robbins working out of the shotgun. Straight handoff here. Cuts it outside and falling towards about the 31-yard line. And Millville continues to ground it out. That's LaQuinn Allen.
Yeah, great tackle there. If we get to see it again, but it was there by Chad Black. Really making that we called it form tackle to make sure it was safe. Watch it again. Watch how the runner sees some option right now. Watch Black coming up right now. Boom. There he is. A lot of help there from number 4, Pierce Love also.
Second down and 7. Robbins quick drop throws. Has a quick outlet across the 35 and over to the 41-yard line. And that should be enough for the first down. So Robbins 3 for 3 early as he finds Vonzel Rivera,
who is also an outstanding athlete for Millville. But there we see the thing that Millville wants to do tonight. They, as you see right here, they want to isolate their talented athletes, put them in a one-on-one situation from Clearview, and let everything else run its course.
Robbins hands off again, big hole. Kicking off the guard and finding a seam once again is LaQuinn Allen.
Yeah, great drive off the line of scrimmage. You called that right on the money because there was a good 2 or 3 yard cushion for LaQuinn when he came in. Watch this again, just great push off the line. And there was plenty of room. He breaks that individual tackle and then breaks to the outside.
Second down, we'll call it 3. Robbins rolls to his right, has an outlet. Finds his man Rivera, missed tackle, and Rivera with enough for the first down.
And again, same situation. Get the ball out to your athletes, let them go one-on-one with Clearview's defenders and hope that a missed tackle will happen or a mistake will happen. As you watch again, it's just a 3-step, we call 3-step drop, release the ball quickly, get it out to your back or receiver, and have him do his magic.
So Robbins early, very effective, 4 for 4 already. Robbins hands off to Allen. Allen is hit right at the line of scrimmage and may have picked up 1.
Yeah, it's great team defense right in there, especially we got a chance again to see Pierce Love in there. He's just really, he's got 66 total tackles on the year. He's a great linebacker. He's alongside of Aiden McCullough, who's the leading tackler on the team.
Second down and 9. Again, it's Allen. Allen stretches forward. He'll pick up maybe 3.
And right now, as everything is going, again, it's still in the probe situation to get everything set, that the run game has worked for short plays right here. As you watch right in here, there's our good look at Rashawn Tompkins, who's definitely considered a Division I player. He has over 10 tackles for losses. That showed it right there.
Third down, Robbins, deep drop, has time, finds his outlet. It's Rivera, his favorite target. Rivera stretches the ball forward across the 40 to the 39-yard line. They'll be shy of the first down, and it's decision time for Dennis Thomas.
Well, after watching the last punt, if I were Dennis Thomas, I think I'm keeping my offense on the field. Here we see it again. Robbins gets it out real quick. And Rivera stumbles a little bit. That might have cost him a first down, but he had the sense to reach out. Nice job defensively there by Jonah Malise.
And now Initially, it looked like they were going to go for it here. Quickly, Millville runs out their special teams unit. And we're going to have a timeout call as some confusion out on the field. And that timeout taken by Millville. So we mentioned that Millville and Clearview, both no strangers to playoff football. Millville has won 5 games in the playoffs under Coach Thomas, including the 2016 Group 5 championship. They've moved down now to Group 4. Last year, kind of a bit of an anomaly. They had a strange algorithm that was top secret. Somehow Shawnee gets in. Not only do they get in, they end up winning the championship.
Yeah.
Both of these teams lost to a team that I think many felt really shouldn't have even been in the playoffs.
And that's a really good point. You know, back in the old days when they only took 4 teams in the playoffs, there were many teams that thought they should have got in, didn't get in.
Yeah.
And now, this year with 16 teams getting in, counting Central Jersey, you're going to get a chance where you're going to have those 3-5, maybe even a 2-6 team that's going to get in.
Yeah.
And you really wonder, they're supposed to be doing it on schedule strength.
Yeah.
But you wonder, if you're 2-6, you're 2-6 for a reason.
No, exactly. You know, back in the day, it used to be you had to be 500 to make the playoffs. I think that's the way we should go. But I don't know. I guess people at Shawnee would argue. So 4th down at 4. The Shields in punt formation. Remember, his last one only won about 12 yards. He's lined up at the 50. Always a threat to run the football. The Shields, they'll punt it away. Again, it's low. And it bounds inside the 5. Will they down it in time? No, that's going to be a touchback.
So it was almost a great deal. The situation I think Dennis Thomas was thinking at the time was, if we can pin Clearview deep, then we can make it into a field position game and get the ball back on our side of the 50-yard line and have a short field to go for. But it'll start at the 20, and we'll see what happens.
It's funny. He said the Shields can play anywhere. Again, he's their punter as well. And this is the first time we've seen Millville. Probably the first punt, a bit of an anomaly. That second one was a good one, almost pinned up deep. Let's take a look at our 2 matchups here, offense and defense. And you can see the points allowed per game. Bit deceptive because, again, they played 3 powerful schools to start the season.
That is absolutely correct.
Inside handoff, and not a whole lot there. That looked to be Troy Black, maybe for 2.
And for our viewers, they opened up with St. Peter's Prep, who was the #1 team in the state last week, and that was a 48-0 game. Then they had a 43-6 game to St. Joe Hamilton and a 36-7 game to Williamstown. So you figure most of those points came in those first 3 games.
Yeah. They've only allowed 8 points in their last 2 games, so that's more indicative of the defense that Millville plays. And both of these teams, as we mentioned, just getting better as the season progresses, and they're really hitting their stride now here in the playoffs.
And that all comes to coaching.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it.
Handoff hit immediately in the backfield. And again, this Millville defense we mentioned has stepped up. Ancona dropped for the loss. They'll lose 1.
And that put Ancona in his 3rd position he's played today. This time he was right behind quarterback Black on that situation, trying to take the handoff, trying to get the yards in front. Before the game, Dennis Thomas reminded both Rob and I, he said, you watch, we have a special defense for tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it is.
I don't think it's necessarily a scheme. He talked about how much his team loved to practice. And I know from a coaching standpoint, when my team loves to practice,
that's
playing a game is like dessert. They can't wait to get at it. Little misdirection, rolling out of the pocket and throwing underneath. It's tipped. And you see the Shields right there. There's a good throw by Chad Black, but the Shields kind of spying it, tipping it away from the intended receiver. And Clearview forced to punt.
And that intended receiver was Mike Ancona, so we got to see him again trying to catch the ball. It just shows how much Clearview really respects and relies on Mike Ancona.
So one of the best players on this Clearview team, as we mentioned, is their kicker, and that's Hunter Logan. He is a real threat. One of the decisions he has to make is, do I kick it to Solomon DeShields? And DeShields is going to let it roll, and that's going to bounce inside the 30-yard line. I knew I was going to do that soon.
You had to. But the interesting thing, that it showed you the value of the kicking game right there.
Yep.
Because you're backed up at the 20-yard line. If you don't get a good punt, they're going to have a short field. And now Millville has to earn their distance down the field.
So Millville's getting the football at the 30-yard line, your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. I think I'm talked to Keith Brook, who's the principal of Clearview, prior to the game, and I said, you guys going to have a great crowd? He said, got a lot of people. This is teachers' weekend. A lot of people go away, and it's really cold. So, I don't know. Crowd is maybe a little late arriving here, but it's a shame because this is maybe the best matchup in the state of New Jersey.
Absolutely, positively.
Robbins, again, setting up the screen pass, floats it, and it is sniffed out, but able to elude tacklers. It's Allen. Again, you see the talents of Allen on display.
Yeah, and then you're right. Usually when you see the quarterback keep dropping, you know it's going to be a screen pass, and it's up to your linebackers to read that. Clearview's did. It just didn't make the tackle at that time.
Well, Robbins is making me out to be a liar. I said it's going to be tough to throw. He's 6 for 6 to start the night with 40 yards.
To take.
Yeah. Handoff inside. That'll be enough for the first down. Still driving. It's Allen. He won't quit. Allen still driving forward. Impressive run by LeQuint Allen.
Boy, it was. And that basically was all Allen. There was a small gap in the beginning, but Allen just kept his legs driving, kept his shoulders square, and kept his head looking forward and getting extra yards. Here we see it again. Watch how his shoulders are square. He fights. He keeps his legs moving, and never gives up on the play. He took a great shot there at the end of the play.
14-yard carry. That's the longest of the night. Here's Robbins again. He's going to go long. Up in the air, and it's caught. It is caught. And it's the Shields shrugging off the tackler. The Shields in for the touchdown.
Boy, any doubts about the talent and ability of the Shields? He went up and got the football because Clearview's defender was right there and then refused to get down and then walked into the end zone. That is a Division I prospect right there.
Well, again, when you're isolating the Shields one-on-one, you just throw it up, and you have to love his athleticism. You like the chances there. It doesn't have to be a perfect throw. It just has to be a ball that the Shields can get to. Again, he outworked the defender, who was in tremendous position, shrugged him off, and Millville now. Looks like they're going to go for 2, and it's successful.
Yeah, the swinging gate situation where you put all your linemen and backs in, you see how Clearview defends it. They saw an advantage going to go out. They got the ball right into hands of Shamir Collins, who's going to be another big athlete for Millville, and they pick up an important 2 points because now it's 8-0. So here we'll see it again. Watch the athletic ability right here of Solomon DeShields. He goes up, he gets the ball. Clearview's defender was right there, shrugs him off, trots into the end zone.
Truth Nelson was in great position. There you see
the extra point,
the 2-point conversion. Clearview just really wasn't set.
No, and I think on the swinging gate that the linemen and the backs come right back over to kick the extra point. But Millville sold the advantage, and that is true. Nelson was right there.
Yep.
And you see, it's just one athlete's better.
Sometimes you get those 50-50 balls, and you just hope for the best. At the very least, you throw it deep there, it works as a punt. But when you have someone with the athleticism, the Shields, again, that's probably a play we're going to see again.
Yeah, I'm sure that. It's almost like the men against boys situation.
Millville now to kick it off, and the kick is short. It bounces, and it's recovered by Millville. It is recovered by Millville.
And that is great hustle for Millville down the field. That's number 19, Deshaun Jenkins. He hustled down the field. A little bit of worry and concern about Clearview. That's a live ball, man. You got to go down and you got to get that ball as fast as you can.
I believe that was actually Caleb Bauman, number 18.
Oops, sorry about that. The eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
But again, the short kick there, and it just kind of sat like a Fred Swartz pitching wedge. And,
that's right.
And Millville just pounced on it, and they're knocking on the door again. 1:40 left here. Robbins, quick drop, looks across the middle, has a man. It's overthrown, and it's picked off. And it's Ancona. We talked about what a beast Ancona is, and that's the play that this Clearview team desperately needed.
Yeah, a great call by Dennis Thomas in the group, that when a mistake happens like that and you get the ball back, when Clearview thought they were going to get the ball on offense, you go right down and try to hit the home run. Ancona stays home, makes the interception, and starts the ball back again for the Pioneers.
I think Robbins just a little too amped up on his throw, overthrew his intended receiver, and here's Ancona.
Yep, exactly, and that was right at the 1-yard line. So that's a pretty impressive play right there.
You love the running of Ancona. You know, his mentality is always that of a linebacker. Even though he's carrying the ball, I'm going to punish somebody.
Yep. Now, it looks like we have a penalty on the return, so it's going to back up Clearview even further now.
Nonetheless, a bit of a momentum swing. We'll see if Clearview can take advantage, at the very least get out of their own end here.
Well, Rob, they got to establish some kind of offense right now. They haven't been really consistent. They've tried to go outside, it hasn't worked. They've tried to go inside, it hasn't worked. The passing game hasn't worked so far yet. So they're still experimenting to see what they can do.
First down at 10, a minute 28 here. Your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. Millville striking early. They're on top, 8-0. And Ancona drops the football. It's still loose
and that's
in the pile, and it looks like it's going to go Millville's way. A lot of thunderbolts in that pile, and it's Millville football.
And how about that? Not only do they get the ball back, but they get the ball back deep in the red zone. It was just one of those. The snap was fine. It's just one of those where every once in a while, watch it come back.
Looks like he got it into his body a little bit. Maybe peeked down just to read a little too late. Just looking to see what the defense was going to bring. And now a pair of turnovers, both inside the 5-yard line, and it's Millville with the football. First down and goal for Robbins and the Thunderbolts. Robbins, again, hands off inside. It's Allen, and Allen is stopped.
And this is where the yards get tough, because as the yardage gets closer to the goal line, the defenders come closer and closer to you, trying to get in that middle. It's toughness versus toughness, and I don't think Clearview is going to back down from anyone.
That was actually Rivera, so nothing doing there. Rivera with 2 carries thus far. Rivera and Allen in the backfield. Second and goal at the 5. Allen in motion. Robbins hands to Rivera. Rivera cuts against the grain and tries to stretch forward, pick up another yard or 2, and it looks like he'll be spotted at the 3.
Yeah, first 2 plays, both of them trying to be we're tougher than your plays, where you're going to come right into the middle. Tried to move the linebacker out from Clearview by taking the running back and putting him out to the wing back. Wouldn't be surprised now if we don't see, well, we're going to see if timeout first. Robbins maybe sprinting out.
I think they're just going to let the clock run out here. So Rivera with those last 2 carries, not much doing here. We've seen that Robbins is quite the weapon, maybe a little waggle here, but we'll have it for you after the break. It's been a good first quarter. Millville striking first on the strength of a DeShields 48-yard touchdown reception. They lead the Pioneers 8-0. It's your Atlantic City Electric game of the week. Welcome back. We start the second quarter with a touchdown run. Millville's Shamor Collins. And Millville up 14-0. So Collins, who had the 2-point conversion, also scores to open this second quarter with the touchdown run of just 3 yards at 11:55 remaining. And again, they're going to go for 2, and it's good. Here's the point after. That's one of the values of that swinging gait. It's just very confusing as a defender. What's going on here? Who's going where? What are my responsibilities, etc.
Members of the varsity field hockey team who are heading to Bordentown High School tomorrow, Saturday, November 9th, to take on Warren Hills High School for the state Group 3 championship. Congratulations to the girls for their 4-1 victory over Burlington Township High School in the state semifinal game this past Tuesday. Recording head coach Brittany Yuan's 200.
I'm a little surprised you don't see that more in pro football now.
Yeah, it's a good point because it works.
Yeah.
It absolutely works. The issue sometimes is, I guess you get too traditional.
Yeah.
And say, I'm not going to do that.
Millville to kick it away. And it's taken at the 10-yard line. Across the 20. And driven out of bounds to about the 30. That is Ancona. We mentioned he's a little bit of everywhere, and we've seen that defense, offense, and special teams.
And Rob, I think very, very crucial drive right here for Clearview. They haven't done anything much offensively. They've got to do something. They've made a couple mistakes. And if they could come back now and just march down the field, get points on the board, then they're in the football game again.
What'll be interesting, I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, is should they score the touchdown, do you go for 2 then, right?
It's not necessary.
No, it isn't necessary.
Especially when you have a good extra point kicker.
Exactly. And a guy who can kick a field goal.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
defense holds, you can win 17-16. But again, we're way ahead of ourselves. 11:48 left, first down and 10. Straight snap, and just not much there for this Clearview offense.
And again, toughness on the offensive line. It's interesting also to see, I will continue to watch, some teams when you have a player like Ancona that's going to be 90-some% of your offense, you put a spy on him, and you put a person and his job is only to watch Ancona. Here it's just toughness versus toughness right here.
Saw Jalen right there on the tackle. Ancona maybe picking up a yard at most. First down, always critical for Clearview just to create some space, and they've been having a tough time tonight on first down. Second down and 9. Did someone jump? Ancona throws down the middle, has a man wide open. It's Black. Black across midfield, still on his feet, slung down at about the 42-yard line of Millville. And that's a big play for the Pioneers.
Boy, that was just what they needed, and great job by Ancona. One of the things that sometimes gives him an advantage is he's a left-handed quarterback, and a lot of defenders aren't used to seeing that. All of a sudden, he raises up, he throws, and the pass is complete. But Ancona has now run the ball, thrown the ball, returned the ball, tackled. He's done it all.
27 yards on the reception. I'm waiting for Ancona at halftime to see what he does with the band.
Yeah, or make hot dogs or something like that.
First and 10, Clearview, and now a whistle blows, and it looks like Millville will take their second timeout. So
I think on that situation, probably the defensive coordinator, after the pass was completed, I think you have to go over and talk to your backs, and you could be lulled to sleep by Clearview sometimes where they run, and then the first time they don't, you come running up for the run. So I still think it's important that Clearview scores.
Yep. There you see head coach Dennis Thomas in his 5th season, 35-17 at Millville. He was one heck of a football player. I mean, we talked about Ancona with the mentality of a runner where he'd like to punish you. That was Dennis Thomas.
Absolutely, and he just he loves the game of football.
Yeah,
he absolutely loves.
He just wants to compete.
Yeah, well, when they won the Group 5 championship, they played a Toms River team that was 10-0 and had blown everybody out in the field.
Yep.
And when I went out and talked to him, because the game was at Rowan at that time, he just said, "You're going to win."
Yeah.
So and that's got to infiltrate your team that you think you can do it.
Yeah. You know, we're talking about football playoff system, Fred. Totally different now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the key was to try to get the 16 best teams in.
Yeah.
I still like the idea when you played in your region first.
Yeah.
But it was some South team is going to win the Central Championship somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Which is going to be odd. Ancona again throws, and that's just a hope and a prayer, and that falls incomplete for Ancona. Yeah, it's going to be odd. I mean, you think, you know, as an example, maybe just pick a team out of a hat. Maybe, say Clearview. Maybe they end up in the Central.
Cedar Creek's going to be that way this year. Cedar Creek down by the shore is in the Central.
Yeah.
But the answer of what we all know is coming is they definitely want to play to a state championship.
Sure.
So this year they're going up and they're playing the region.
Yeah.
Then the next move would be there as we see the play coming down. The next move, from what I've been told, is they're going to go to that championship game and they're going to start the season even a week earlier.
Well, and the other thing is you can go, instead of the top 8, you go to the top 4, and then that gives you that additional week, right?
Right. that could be also done. That's true.
Second down and 10 for the Pioneers. Handoff. Ancona. He's really carrying the a heavy workload tonight, and he's getting punished repeatedly. Nothing doing for Ancona. He has 6 carries on the night for 7 yards.
And that was definitely a missed assignment in there because the Millville lineman was unblocked, and he just unloaded there on Ancona. So part of all, again, is one we've noticed right off the bat is Ancona can do everything. But Ancona's going to need the help of his teammates around here to build up some offense.
I think this would be a great situation for a screen pass. You see Millville so aggressive defensively.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. That's true. And sometimes it's the middle screen that works the best because your linemen and your linebackers just flare out to the outside and your linemen come hard. Let's see what happens.
Did someone jump? Ancona back to pass, has time, throws, has a man, it's caught. First down, Clearview.
Exactly what you need. Poise, good vision by Ancona, and a very, very good reception down there. A pattern run by Sean McAllister. McAllister has caught 6 passes this year for 142 yards. So he's averaging almost 24 yards every time he catches. Watch, just that little misdirection in the backfield. Ancona sets up, keeps his poise, throws the ball down, and there's McAllister for the catch right at the 20-yard line.
So Ancona now 2 for 3 throwing, 48 yards, and he is lined up as a running back. Chad Black under center. Black hands to Ancona. Ancona right up the middle, cuts against the grain. Ancona drives forward, finally brought down. Again, a fine run by Ancona just outside the 5-yard line.
And let's give take our hats off to the Clearview offensive line on that play. Excellent blocking, and what a character drive for the Pioneers. Watch the line blocking up here. A double team right there on the nose guard opens up Ancona, and he just is looking for the goal line. But this is character by Clearview showing right off the bat.
16-yard carry, Ancona. Black again under center with Ancona in the backfield. Looks to the sideline. And again, as you mentioned, a critical drive here. 1st and goal at the 5. Black looks to get the offensive signals. It's his brother Black in motion, and he is slung down in the backfield. A fine defensive stop made by Millville's number 7, Shemore Collins. He has been a force tonight.
Yeah, that was well. He just shot the gap real quick and was able to get to the running back before there was any opportunity. Again, we're down here by the goal line. Everything tightens up. Your linebackers are up tight. Your linemen go in the gaps. All is penetration. Watch, Collins just shoots right through. Boy, that's just great defensive in the goal line area.
Loss of 2 yards. Black with 2 carries and 0 yards unofficially. 2nd down and goal, and it's Ancona now under center. And a whistle blows.
There's a flag thrown on the play prior to the snap.
And we have a procedure against Clearview, and that's going to hurt.
Yeah, definitely. It goes from the 6-yard line back to the 11 or the 12-yard line in this situation. Sometimes you're in such a hurry to get things done that you either anticipate the count a little too soon, but it's just a tough situation right here.
Here's your officials. Terry Barlow, the referee. Neil Mosca, the ump. Andrew Rosenblum, your side judge. Line judge Anthony Mosca. Tom Barlow, the field judge. John Sheaf, your linesman. On the clock, it's John Gallagher.
And all from Ocean County, because right now the officials from your area cannot work your games.
2nd down and goal from the 12. Ancona keeps. Ancona rolls. He's got space. Ancona angling towards the end zone. Touchdown! 12-yard scamper. Mike Ancona, and Clearview answers.
Anybody had any questions about Mike Ancona? There it is right there. Great vision to the outside, knew where the end zone is, gets in, and saves Clearview's game right now as they definitely put themselves right back in the hunt.
Well, Ancona has really saddled the load here. We'll see Hunter Logan come on for the extra point.
As we said before, 2 touchdowns and a field goal overcomes 16.
The extra point is up, and it is good. So it is 16-7. We mentioned, do you go for 2? I think that's the right call there. There's plenty of football to be played. Who knows what's going to happen later. But more importantly for Clearview, that is a major, major boost.
Yeah, here's a touchdown. You can see great blocking by the linemen out in front, all making contact with defenders. And Kona does the rest, takes it right into the end zone.
You know, Steve Scanlon couldn't say enough about that young man in the pregame. Talked about what an intelligent young man he is. Has done very well on his SATs. Great GPA. Possibly an Ivy League player, but if not, he's maybe a D3 guy that we're going to read about.
Well, he's definitely a D3 player. Yeah. He would be, for me being at Rowan University, I can tell you right off the bat, Micah Kona would be starting right now at Rowan University, somewhere on the field. Maybe not a quarterback, but somewhere on the field he'd be playing. The biggest issue is it's a shame sometimes that colleges look at size first.
Yeah.
And heart sometimes is more important than size.
So Logan setting up to kick it away here. Clearview answers back. 7:26 now in this second quarter, and this also a big defensive stop for the Pioneers. Shields back to receive. And again, it's another squib kick. Bounces off the Millville player towards the sideline. He just swats it out. So that was Devontae White who wisely just got it out of bounds. And Millville will start offensively with good field position.
And Rob, you said it right off the bat. I think it's imperative right now if Clearview can get a stop here and get their offense back on the field. We've got plenty of time before half. There's over 7 minutes and 21 seconds. They can stop Millville's momentum right here and turn it back over to the offense. We could have a really close game very quickly.
Robbins and the offense take over for Millville. And the handoff inside, and just not a whole lot there.
Now, again, sure tackle right there by number 4, Pierce Love, from the linebacker position. You can see why these guys have the number of tackles. They read the offensive lineman. The tackle's job on defense is to keep the lineman off the linebacker. The linebackers to make the hits.
So Allen with a carry of 2. Robbins again. Jet screen out to Delano. Excuse me, to Solomon to Shields. That's the second time I've done it.
Delano's going to love it. So he's going to love to be playing in that situation. But be honest with you, nice move in there. They try to get the ball to your game breaker in that kind of a situation. Put him in a one-on-one and just short tackling there done by Clearview.
So Robbins has, in theory, completed all of his passes. One was to a player in green, Ancona. But again, 8 for 9 so far, 91 yards. Third down, we'll call it 4. Empty backfield. Robbins rolls to his left, throws, has a man inside, cut down, but not before picking up the first down is Maurice Smith.
And hard thing on that situation, Robbins, who's right-handed, rolls to the left, has to throw across his body, and he threw a dart. Watch this. Takes his 3 steps, sets, keeps his shoulders square, which is what you have to do, and then throws a dart to the receiver. Great job.
And Robbins is another kid that Dennis Tom's very excited about. Really loves the way that he throws the football.
And he's a sophomore.
Another screen out to the outside, and a nice little pickup as once again he finds his target, Maurice Smith.
You know, it used to be that run games were everything that high school football did or college football did. It was who was tougher. People realize that little quick pass right now is just almost the same or as safe as a running play.
10 for 11, Robbins, and Millville starting to matriculate down the field. Ball at the 44-yard line. Robbins looks over to the sideline, and it looks like we have a whistle.
It's interesting. The referee walking over to the Millville bench. We'll see what he says. He said absolutely nothing, so no harm, no foul.
All right. Second down. Inside, it's Allen. Allen drives forward and leans for the first down.
So where Clearview was close to the point of where they could get Millville on a 3-and-out and get the ball back, now Millville taking over, moving the sticks and trying to get yards. Watch again, this is just pure athleticism right here, because it's good defense by Clearview. Everyone was in the spots they were supposed to be. It's just great athleticism.
Aiden McCullough on the tackle Again, a first down for Allen. He has carried the ball 9 times now for 38 yards. Robbins, and he'll hand it off right up the gut, driving forward again. Millville just kind of grinding it out play by play. A little shaken up is Allen, but not before picking up a nice little chunk once again. And we'll call it 6.
And I'll tell you, that's exactly right. It makes second down and third down so much easier when you can do that on down number 1.
Again, it's Allen. Allen. And this time he is met by a host of Pioneers, but led by Dalton Noakes.
And I'll tell you what, that was a stick. That is a classic tackle. He lowered his shoulder and threw it right into the ball carrier, and the ball carrier went backwards.
3rd down and 2. Millville driving, eating up clock. 4:40 left. First half. 3rd down and 2, and Clearview jumps.
And that's what sometimes a quarterback doesn't get enough credit for. He altered his cadence. So offensive linemen or defensive linemen in this case, so much get used to certain cadence, and they're going for it. Robbins changes the cadence and draws Clearview right off and gets the first down.
That was Tompkins, you see, just trying to be a little bit too aggressive there. Again, that was a big play, 3rd down and 2. You can understand Tompkins trying to get at it, but instead it's 1st and 10 Millville. High snap, right up the gut. It's Rivera. Rivera, again, pushing his way forward. And this is kind of the way the Millville offense works. You just beat you soundly, but slowly.
And that's exactly right. And then it also sets up for when Robbins decide not to hand the ball off and throw the ball down the field for a touchdown.
2nd down and 5, and timeout here at Clearview. So, you know, this may be not only getting everybody on the same page, but this has been a long drive, and it's an opportunity for his defense to get a rest, kind of understand what's at stake here, the importance of holding Millville before they get to the half.
And I agree with that. Sometimes when things aren't going exactly the way you want, it just needs a timeout. Everybody regroup. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. We can do it.
Yep.
There's no issue. It's just we got to keep playing Clearview football. I'm very impressed with the stable of backs that Millville has.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a one-man show. That's for darn sure. And each of these backs are pretty darn good football players.
You know, we talked a lot about Solomon DeShields, and we've seen his great athleticism, but the problem with playing Millville is that they have weapon after weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the fact that scoring that first touchdown, they have other guys that they feature.
Absolutely, positively. And again, they can also throw the ball, and that really helps.
2nd down and 6. Again, the screen pass thrown out. And on his feet, breaking tackle after tackle. That's Collins.
And that's
just one more weapon we talked about.
Yeah, that's what you want. Again, get the ball out to your playmakers, get it out to your athletes, let them be one-on-one with the other athlete. Watch, it's just nothing more than just a quick pass. Collins gets the ball, makes the move, and then breaks down the field. And Black is there to make the tackle. That's just athleticism and ability right there.
1st and 10 at the 25. Robbins with the drop, has a man in the corner, and is it caught? No, it falls incomplete. The defender, Hunter Thurston, was there, but he never got his body turned around. Had he done so, again, maybe able to knock it down or, more importantly, intercept the football.
Yeah, because the ball was not going to get to the receiver, so that's a good point. Now, Robbins puts the ball up in here, and as you can see, Thurston's there. When I coach defensive backs, what we always told our defensive back is follow just like Thurston did, but when the receiver looks for the ball, you turn.
Read those eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
2nd down and 10, and that's the first ball that touched ground after leaving the right arm of Robbins. 11 for 13 on the night with 1 interception. Robbins throws again, has a man, a quick hitter, and he finds Collins.
Yeah, it's again progressing. I think this is going to be 4-down territory for Millville. They have an extra point field goal kicker, but I honestly believe that they're going to try to keep using the clock, and the worst that can happen is Clearview is going to have to go a long way to score.
It's a big play for this Clearview defense. Robbins hands it off right up the middle, driving forward. Looks like maybe shy of the first down is LaQuint Allen.
And again, that straight back where they're just coming straight up the field. It's keeping the shoulders square, and as we say enough times, in the legs. Watch, just good running position. Keep that. Oh, that's a great tackle, by the way, on that situation by the Clearview linebacker. That is an outstanding form tackle right there.
4th down, Robbins with Rivera and Allen in the backfield. And now it looks like a timeout going to be called here.
There's a timeout on the field called by
and it's Clearview's second. So not surprised at all that he's going for it here. You mentioned before that they do have the possibility of kicking field goal here. But when your head coach is a running back and your head coach is a running back that likes to pound the football, 4th and short, you're probably going to go for it.
Oh, yeah, and always what we used to think in this situation, best back, best play. So the play that you run, that you feel you run the best, and the back that you trust the most, that's what you're going to do. And I agree with what you said, because Dennis likes that kind of situation.
Exactly. It's interesting you say that, because oftentimes when we do these games, Fred, we see sometimes coaches almost outthinking themselves.
Yes.
You know? That, well, we know that they're going to key on our top players, so we're going to go somewhere else, and then it fails spectacular.
Yeah, we used to say that if you're running a back and he's gaining 5 yards at a time, why do you run a different play?
Yeah, exactly. 4th down for the Thunderbolts. Right up the gut, Rivera cuts it outside. Rivera has the seam. He'll have enough for the 1st down inside the 10. Rivera finally knocked out of bounds. 1st down, Thunderbolts.
And great vision there. Great vision by Rivera. The play was originally set up to go inside, probably right off tackle. Able to see, watch it again, watch it. It was going to be set up here because the kickout block was going to make the inside. He bounces to the outside and just has that lateral ability. Boy, I'll tell you what, he got that 1st down on his own ability.
But, unfortunately, he had a little help because there's a penalty flag on the field. And this is going to be a holding call going against the Thunderbolts. This is their first flag of the night offensively.
And Dennis not too happy, as you can see. He was out on the field trying to check to see what happens, because now this changes your thinking completely.
Absolutely.
Because now I guess instead of maybe like 2 yards to go, it's now 12. So you may go back, and I think Mr. DeShields may be a part of this situation.
Again, this is outside of their range. So 4th down and 13. Robbins, deep drop, has time, throws, has a man, but it is overthrown and picked off. Picked off, looking for his target, Collins, but instead intercepted. Probably would have been wiser just to let that fall. Instead, Clearview deep in their own end inside the 10-yard line. They will take over 1st down and 10.
And I'll tell you what, watch it again. That's exactly what they were trying for the big play. Clearview player just with great positioning on that. That's number 3 right there, Zion Bryant. But you know, it's interesting. You're 100% right. You should knock the ball down. But when that ball comes right at you, that's probably the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah. So we saw Nelson, who was beaten earlier by DeShields. He comes away with the interception here. 1st down and 10 for the Clearview Pioneers. 2nd interception of the night by Robbins. Handoff inside, big hole. On his feet, across the 20, down the sideline. Across midfield, Ancona, and he's cut down at about the 37-yard line.
I'll tell you what, just a quick hit, quick opener, we used to call it in the old days, but Ancona just sees the ball, sees the hole, and then just, I'll tell you what, shows some great speed in that also.
54 yards on the run. By far the longest play of scrimmage for the Pioneers.
Now, the only thing working against here we get to see is, again, it's just real quick opener. He gets past the 1st level, beats the contained man, and just keeps the ball rolling right now as he comes down the field. There's only one person to beat, and that's just a nice, sure tackle outside to stop the end zone run by Ancona. That is number 12, Vonzel Rivera, who seems to be all over the field also.
1st down and 10. Clearview now threatening. Minute 51 left. Handoff inside, and maybe 4 or 5 Ancona once again.
So credit Clearview's coaching staff in this situation. They were having trouble with the run early in the game. They obviously have spotted something in Millville's defense that they can exploit, and it's definitely worked in the last few plays.
Taking a lot of time here, a little surprised by that. Gain of 5. Ancona at 94 yards in this 1st half on the ground. Remember, Ancona has also been spectacular throwing the football. 2nd and 5. Black in the shotgun. It's Ancona. He'll look to throw. Ancona down the middle. Has a man wide open. It's caught. Touchdown.
Wow. How about that? A little.
Rashawn Tompkins with the touchdown. And Clearview answers the bell once again.
And that is interesting. Ancona lined up as a running back. And Black handed the ball. He took 2 steps. Then threw right down to the tight end, Rashawn Tompkins, who makes the catch over the receiver, over the defender from Millville. Just almost eerily similar to the way DeShields did it. With his extra point now, we've got a 2-point game.
Ancona with the 32-yard touchdown pass to Tompkins. And we have ourselves a heck of a football game. The extra point is good.
And I will tell you, that's where you look at it now, because people would say you should go for the 8 because they got 8. Now you're just a field goal away from taking the lead.
That's correct. And you have maybe the best field goal kicker in the state of New Jersey, certainly one of the top 3.
And of course, remember in the opening kickoff that Clearview deferred, so they're going to get the ball to start period number 3.
Wow. Millville jumped down 16-0. When I saw Millville jump out 16-0, I didn't think it was so much the touchdowns that were going to break the back of Clearview, but it was those extra points, those 2-point conversions. And you've got to credit these Clearview players for staying with it.
Well, I think, again, that goes back to... You can see Rashawn Tompkins, he's got 8 catches for 309 yards in his year so far this year, but he will trade all those for that touchdown pass. I'll tell you, that was an outstanding play. You got to give credit to coaches, because the bottom line is it's easy to all of a sudden say this is not going to be our night. And they just kept going. They found a way. They found openings that were there, and we got ourselves a heck of a football game.
Absolutely. 16-14. Clearview to kick it away here. Mullica Hill. Again, another squib kick. Batted down, taken at the 29-yard line. And brought down after a pickup of maybe 2 yards. So this has been effective once again. They kick it and batted down by Devontae White, who had it kicked right at him last time. Here's the touchdown by Ancona.
And watch again, as you can see, it's just a handoff back. Watch the catch made here by Tompkins. He was right there. He kept his concentration right in, because that ball was thrown short, and it was easy, almost thrown into right where the defender was.
Yep.
He kept his eyes on the ball. He kept his eyes all the way through the catch, and touchdown.
First down and 10 for Robbins. Robbins rolls to his right now, cuts it back inside, and Robbins is sacked.
Now it's interesting, because Clearview does have some timeouts right here that they could use.
Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Second down and a loss of about 5. First and 15.
Now the play clock's at 40 right now for high school football, so Millville can really much milk everything down to almost nothing. I think what they'll do with Robbins will wait for the field judge to make his cut.
Robbins will hand it off. And again, another loss on the play. This Clearview defense has really stepped it up as LaQuint Allen loses about 2.
And we're going to have a holding situation in here, which against Millville, which at this time it really doesn't make that much of a difference whether you take the penalty or not. There's 1 timeout remaining. If I were Clearview, I would turn the penalty down.
Agreed.
And there's a chance that maybe you take a timeout after the play, and there could be a few seconds left in the clock. What I'm expecting is Millville would just try to run the ball wide to try to run the time off the clock.
They opt to take it, which with Clearview having 1 timeout left, they can just take a knee here and run the clock out.
Yeah, that's
if Clearview
exactly
burns the timeout, they'll have the other down to do that.
Right. And the clock is starting on the penalty, so basically the half's over.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the final.
Well, that'll be the final play of the first half. It's been a great first half. Millville jumped out to a 16-0 lead, but Clearview comes back and shocks them with 2 straight touchdowns. It's a tight one here in Mullica Hill. The Pioneers trail the Thunderbolts 16-14. It's your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week.
We're back here at Clearview Regional High School for half number 2 to begin. Clearview will be getting the football. You can see in the at the half situations, the statistics that are up there. Notice right now Millville 13 for 16 in passing. 2 turnovers, 1 for Clearview, but it was right down by the goal line. Running yards, all for Michael Ancona. They're at 94. And passing yards, you can see the difference. So total yards, not that much different. But I'll tell you what, Rob, we're going to have ourselves a heck of a second half.
Well, we certainly had a great first half, and we're underway here in the second half. Again, it's a short kick, returned across the 25, over to the 30, and finally brought down to the 36-yard line. First down and 10. Clearview comes off of that first half with a tremendous amount of momentum. And again, you love where you are, even though you're trailing by 2 if you are a Clearview Pioneer football fan.
Right, especially when you have a good field goal kicker.
Yeah.
Because you're in the ball game to score points. Sean McAllister on that kickoff return, really nice job giving him good field position to start off. We'll see what adjustments are made. Millville was using a little spy defense where they were taking a person right on that Mike Ancona. It didn't work all that well. We'll see if they make a change. We have a whistle.
Not surprisingly, despite the whistle, who did they start with? Ancona.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I would too. The one thing I really like what Steve Scanlon did, when he takes a look at a kid like Ancona, you want him to touch the ball every play.
Yeah, so, he just about did.
Yeah, and you put him at quarterback. When you put him at running back, he runs the ball. If you put him out, he's going to be the receiver.
With that said, on the other side of the ball, you get the shields the ball more often.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to have to do in half number 2. I agree with that. I think what surprised me the most in the first half is that Robbins could throw the football.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. He's a little undersized, but I'll tell you what, there's been some pretty good undersized football players in the NFL. Don't discount Robbins, and he has so many different weapons. First down and 5 here for Clearview. We start this second half. Clearview with excellent field position. And it's Ancona with the football. Fakes the handoff and carries, drives forward, first down. And again, just a little something that is in the Ancona playbook.
Yeah, that's drive and determination right there. I mean, the play was designed to go to the left side. There was absolutely nothing there, as you'll see. He realized it, makes a step back, realized the linebacker's over pursuit, and just gets, that's called getting something out of nothing.
Yep, Ancona now over 100 yards rushing on the day. Remember, he had that big carry in that first half that really broke things open of 54 yards when they were deep in their own end. First down and 10, just inside the 50-yard line. Handoff right up the gut. Again, it's Ancona, and he'll be brought down after a pickup of about 4.
So it's pretty obvious as we come out of halftime, Clearview feels very, very comfortable right now running the football, and it makes them extremely dangerous because as the D-backs and the linemen right now expected, it's just a real quick hitter right there where it kind of just finds an opening and goes where he is. It's going to lull the defensive backs to sleep, and then all of a sudden you run that little waggle or you run a little trick play, and they're wide open.
Fumble, and Black falls on the football, and that's a case that really kind of breaks up the momentum, puts them into a long third down here, something they want to stay away from. But again, in terms of Clearview, not only is it good for them to run the football, in terms of just continuing to possess the football, but conversely, it keeps that explosive offensive Millville off the football
that's
field.
really true. When you can run the ball and you can control the clock, you're never out of the game. Watch, it was going to be a handoff right here.
Yep.
And it
was going to go black to black.
Yeah, exactly. How about that?
Yeah.
But at least good sense by the quarterback, Black, because he dove on that football to stop a turnover.
Ancona under center. Third down, he rolls to his right, and he's going to keep. Ancona across midfield. Ancona still on his feet, first down.
It was great sense of balance for Ancona, how he stayed in bounds. Most players would go out of bounds probably close near the 40-yard line. He just kept himself going. Watch again. Watch the balance by Ancona. He gets the opening. He's right by the sideline. He breaks between those two and gets 5 more extra yards just on his ability to know where he was on the football field.
15-yard on the carry. I tell you, it looked like he had nothing there, and all of a sudden exploits the seam down the sideline, tightrope, first down. Handoff inside, and this time it's Black. Black pushes forward, and now Clearview's getting a little bit more of a push from their offensive line.
Yeah, that's really, I was just going to mention that. The offensive line for Clearview stepping up on this drive and really doing it. Watch again, it's Black to Black here, and again, falling behind the pulling guards that are coming around, and so getting the linebackers to over pursue, and that gets them yards.
Second down. Black under center with Ancona in the backfield. And it's Ancona. Breaks one tackle, thrown down at the 25-yard line. A fine tackle made by Millville's number 22 on Dwelle Stevens. But again, Ancona just punishing you if you opt to bring him down.
And showing the ability. Watch, he's hit right at the line of scrimmage, but he refuses to go down. Now, I'll tell you what, he took a pretty good lick right there.
And now they push forward. They'll have enough for the first down here. So Clearview continuing to move the football. Ancona pushes the pile forward for a gain of 2.
And even closer, Rob, they're getting down to a situation where they're going to get points off this drive. If they get themselves probably about 5 more yards, they're in field goal range for their kicker.
Going up to 128 yards rushing now. And Ancona over on the sideline, something you rarely see, trying to catch his breath and maybe fix his equipment. He's trying to keep warm. I should have opted for that headwear.
I'm telling you, I was pretty impressed with that right off the bat.
First down and 10, a rarity. Ancona not out there as we speak. Black looks to audible. 2 men in the backfield.
Even if she didn't want to date him anymore?
Black handoff, off tackle, dancing, driving, pushing, and falling forward is Clearview's number 25, Sean McAllister, his first carry of the evening.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that was a really, really hard run because he was met right there by Keon German from Millville, and it was tackle on tackle right there, or pad against pad. Watch this again. Sean McAllister sees the opening, levels up right here, and just goes boom. And I'll tell you, that is a violent collision, and McAllister got the best of that one.
Second down for the Pioneers.
Again, nice situation, 2nd and 4. Gives you so many opportunities that you can do.
Ancona is back in the game, and he's under center. Ancona fakes the handoff. He keeps, again, rolls to his left. Ancona will not be brought down by one tackler and falls forward. That'll be enough for the first down.
And you hit that right. He will not be brought down. But also good job by the pulling guards that are coming out for Clearview. Watch again. Watch number 55 leading as he comes around looking for someone to hit. Ancona breaks off him and is able to get down in that first down area. And we have a timeout on the field, obviously called by Millville, trying to regroup because they now realize that there's a good possibility, unless something happens, that they're going to fall behind in this football game.
Well, I tell you, this game has really changed tremendously, and not only from the standpoint of the score, but in terms of just the push. You get a sense of the confidence that's building within Clearview. Let's take a look at this 2019 schedule.
There they are. Look at
you
those
mentioned
three at the
they start out playing St. Peter's Prep, who is, one of the top teams, top programs in the country, and they just got walloped. St. Joe's we had earlier in the year against West Deptford and Williamstown, who was until recently undefeated. And then they start to kind of get their sea leagues, tripped up against a very good Timber Creek team. But again, credit Dennis Thomas. He wants to play the best.
Yeah, that's what he said before. He said he'll do that every year. I said, are you going to, they probably had a 1-1 with St. Peter's. He said, I'll play them every year. Now, when we look at Clearview, the situation for that is the Kingsway game that you saw was a double overtime game. The Winslow Township game was a double overtime game. They were able to win that. That shows a lot about the character of your team.
Clearview now setting up first down and 10. And the handle. It's Ancona. Ancona cuts it inside, drives forward, still on his feet, and slowed down after a pickup of 5.
So it's pretty obvious now what's going to happen. Wherever Michael Ancona lines up, Michael Ancona is going to get the football, whether it's catching the ball, whether it's running the ball, whether it's being the quarterback. Now, the play that has been their bread and butter in the last couple drives is when Ancona gets the ball and rolls to the left side. Again, remember, he's a left-handed quarterback that tries to get towards the end zone.
Ancona responsible for all but 12 yards of their offense tonight. Inside handoff tripped up, maybe a yard. And Ancona looks like he may have tripped over his own player.
Yeah, I think so. It was a definite open. I think he tripped over the guard's legs at that time. Now sets up an interesting dilemma for Clearview. Watch if it's the trip. So we had number 74. He trips right over the feet of the lineman at that time. Is if it happens to go fourth down, it now gives you a couple interesting options. You take the field goal, take the lead. Do you try for the touchdown? Also gives you the lead. And if you don't get it, it makes Millville go a long distance. It'll be a very interesting dilemma for Coach Scanlon if it comes up to fourth down.
Well, not surprisingly, Ancona under center. I wouldn't be surprised to see him roll left and have the run pass option. He does. He rolls left. He cuts it inside. Ancona, and he's going to be denied this time. Ancona picking up nothing there as the Millville defense swarms in on Ancona. And again, as you mentioned, it's decision time for the Pioneers.
And a decision has been made. They're going to kick the field goal. And probably a good move at this particular time because it gives you the lead in the game.
Yeah, it's essentially an extra point here.
Right.
22-yard field goal.
Remind those linemen, block down. The block's not going to come from the outside. It's going to come from the middle.
Officially, it'll be a 22-yard attempt. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Clearview takes his first lead of the night via a 22-yard field goal.
So there, what we talked about before back in the first half when Millville went up 16-0, do you go for two? The patience by Clearview, realizing they have such a good kicker, they're able to score and then kick the field goal, and now suddenly it's 17-16 Clearview.
So Clearview has run off 17 unanswered points again. Clearview typically starts with Millville starts with relatively good field goal position. Hunter Logan has continually squib kicked. They're usually starting off between the 30 and 35-yard line. Here you see Logan on the season, 45 points on the year, 5 for 9 for field goals. And he's someone that can kick the ball in the end zone as well, but given the talent of the Shields, the fear is that given how cold it is, should it be short, then all of a sudden you put the ball in the hands of their best playmaker.
I was at the Millville-Kingsway game, and Kingsway had fought all the way back and tied the game, kicked deep, and the Shields took it all the way back to the house. Yeah. So that's what you don't want to have happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure Steve Scanlon's saying, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, absolutely, positively.
Cold evening here. You know, we mentioned earlier they had that fumble. This is a situation, too, where the pigskin gets a little bit slippery, too. So, again, we know that Robbins likes to throw the football. He's been very accurate, and he's been very successful. But it's just continually getting colder, makes it a little bit tough on the receivers.
I remember we were at the St. Joe's game, and Coach Sacco was lamenting back that nobody kicked the ball to Jada Byers, and your comment to him was, would you?
Yeah, exactly. So, again, a short squib kick taken at the 40-yard line, and maybe picking up one is Allen. So, excellent field position once again for Millville.
And missed in that situation. Clearview ran 7 minutes off the clock.
Yep.
So, Millville doesn't have to panic. I mean, any score wins the game for them or gives them the lead anyway. So we'll see if they make any changes. They ran the ball very well. They threw the ball extremely well.
Well, we mentioned it is cold. Feels like 25 degrees here. You want to turn up your Atlantic City Electric tonight.
You know, they're going to love you.
Handoff. Cut outside and angling. Nice little run once again by LaQuint Allen.
Yeah, and again, I think Dennis, knowing Dennis well, he's going to realize that he can run, he can pass. As we watch LaQuint Allen right here, it's just a play design that's like a zone play where he finds that we give the ball to the back in the backfield, and then he finds the opening.
Allen with 52 yards. Rocket screen out to DeShields. DeShields throws off one man and now is met by an entire stagecoach full of Pioneers.
That's for sure. And I'll tell you what, that was good defense in the fact that the initial defensive back did not allow DeShields to get by him quickly, and it gave support. The cavalry came pretty quickly. Here you see it again. Shields wants to make the move outside. He cannot. He now tries to go back, and here comes the rest of the group to match up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes that's what it takes to bring down DeShields.
And I'll tell you what, that's great team tackle, though.
3rd down and 5, rolling to his left, throwing, has a man inside, And is it caught?
It sure is, and it's a first down.
Smith with the reception.
Yeah, a little curl pattern right there. We used to call it the old things in the old days button hooks on that kind of situation, but it's just roll a couple steps and tell your receiver to get open. Robbins found him.
So across midfield, the Thunderbolts with the football. First down and 10. Robbins out of the shotgun throws, has a man, it's the Shield. Out in the flat, the Shields looks to create, and the Shields brought down.
And again, that's almost like a win for Clearview, because that's a play that if the Shields gets by the outside man, he's going to go for quite a distance in that particular time. But it just shows you how explosive Millville can be. They can throw that ball out to their game makers, and they can also run the football.
Clock continues to move, approaching 3 minutes left, and it looks like we're going to have a procedure. I think Allen, who got the football, just cheated forward a little bit.
Yeah, it's amazing. You want to get the ball, you want to move as fast as up. But you know, really, this game has been pretty penalty-free.
Yeah,
and it's almost what you kind of expect, because you're seeing now the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
I got a shocker for you though. Your Eastern High School team is tied with the #1 seed North Brunswick.
How about that?
In the third quarter.
How about that?
So.
Anything can happen in the playoffs, right?
Well, and that's it. And that's the difference.
The other thing, too, is Central Jersey, South Jersey. I mean, it's hard to compare apples and oranges.
Yeah, now you're going to finally get a chance to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise that has happened so far at the halftime scores is that Long Branch, who last year won Group 4 in that bowl game scenario, they're beating Highland 26-3, and
wow.
that's pretty surprising at this time of the year.
Yeah, Highlands had a kind of an up and down year. There a lot of talent there, but they had that issue where quite a few players were suspended. So, you know, sometimes there's a lot of things that go on, and you wonder why a team's not successful, and there are things that a coach simply can't control. You can only do so much with players.
That's what we used to say
on the field.
Also, we're in the coaching profession, that we never really condemned another coach because you didn't know what he had to live with every day.
That's exactly right. So they're going to decline the penalty. Third down. Out of the shotgun, Robbins gets pressure. He's chased. He throws and has his man. It's caught at the 25-yard line. Again, you see the accuracy of Robbins, and he finds Tyon Cephas.
And I'll tell you what, that was great poise by Robbins, because the pressure was on him. Watch the pressure coming from the backside in here. Watch as it's coming down. Where he is about ready to get the boom load on him, and he still releases the ball into a great catch.
Hand off inside, pushing forward, still on his feet, and finally cut down is Shaymore Collins. We'll see where they give him forward progress, but that was the first, or excuse me, just the second pass of over 20 yards tonight by Robbins, and we may have a penalty here.
Yeah, it looks like it happened at the end of the play, and it looks like it's going to go against. Well, let's just wait. But, you know, when you have big games like this, sometimes games fail to live up to their expectations. It's going to be a dead ball personal foul against Clearview.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
That is going to hurt big time. This game has definitely lived up to expectations. You have two good teams. They play hard. They sometimes can create a big play and sometimes can create the big mistake, but they are certainly doing what everybody thought they could do. All right, so that's going to be a half the distance to the goal. And boy, it's going to put Millville deep down in the red zone, just outside, looks like the 10-yard line.
So first down here. They are outside the 10, so they can get a first down. Robbins throws, has a man in the flat, and he is hit immediately. Finds his receiver, Smith.
Now, Clearview playing a little soft, what we used to call a soft corner here, where the receiver's probably the defender's probably 6 or 7 yards off the ball. Millville seeing that, trying to get as much yardage as they can.
Handoff. Finds a seam, driving forward, touchdown, Millville. And Shaymore Collins answers back.
And I'll tell you what, that was the play that scored the touchdown earlier in the game when he bounced it and went to the outside. This time he saw the outside was covered, took it back inside, and just like a good movie now, the script is turned a little bit now, and Millville goes back in front. Extra point here is going to be very interesting as far as what they do.
So Collins with his second touchdown of the evening, and Clearview has to be mindful of this two-point conversion. Allen in the backfield. Robbins throws into the flat, has a man, it's caught, perfect touch on the throw, and the two-point conversion is good.
Yeah, and you called that exactly right. That was just a little swing out pass by the back, and it was just all touched by Robbins, making that pass completed to number 5, LaQuint Allen. Watch again, this is the, that's an earlier play in the game.
Clearview Regional High School, 17.
But now, if you're not Clearview fans, you're only 7 points behind. A drive right down the field, and you make the extra point, and we're 24-24.
Now, again, you see, if you're Clearview, you feel so good about things. I mean, you have 17 points on the board. You've scored a couple of touchdowns, but you're still you're a whole touchdown away when, again, you've given up 6 points on two-point conversion.
Yeah, that's a touchdown run, and you can just see the effort right in here to get into the end zone. That was just all athletic ability. It also shows you the ability, by the way, Mr. Running back, don't put the ball in the face of the Clearview. That's just a great throw. That's a great throw and a great catch.
Yep.
But it shows when you have athletes of this kind that you're never out of a football game, because you can go down the field and you can score anyway.
Kick taken at the 10. And again, a good return here, brought down by McAllister, brought to the 29-yard line. First down and 10 Pioneers. And got a lot of offense.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because it's not critical yet, but I mean, this third quarter is breaking records for how fast it's going. There's only 1 minute and 40 seconds left in this third quarter at all. So Clearview doesn't know how many more times they're going to get the football. So every drive now becomes crucial. Every play becomes crucial. It looks like we're going to get a penalty here on probably that famous block in the back.
Well, Clearview has really hurt itself here in the last few minutes. Remember, maybe the biggest play of that drive outside of the 25-yard touchdown pass was the personal foul against Clearview.
Exactly. That moved it all the way down to the 11-yard line. That's right.
First down and 10 Pioneers, Black under center. And hands to his brother.
That's a good straight-ahead run. And again, don't be concerned because there's still plenty of time left in this football game. And basically Clearview, by keeping Millville away from having the ball, is a plus. You're just going to need that drive. A field goal will probably not help you now one way or the other unless you think you have enough confidence in your defense to make a stop.
Second down and 7. Clock continues to move. We wind down towards 1 minute remaining in this third quarter. As you mentioned, Fred going particularly quickly here, and Clearview a lot of territory to cover in order to tie this football game. Black under center once again, and they'll hand it off inside, bouncing off one tackle. It's Ancona, and he's going to lose yards.
Yeah, that's going to be what Clearview didn't need at that time, was negative yardage on the play. It sets up a very interesting third down and about 7 call, and you just don't want to go 3 and out here and hand the ball right back to Millville, even though they're probably going to run the clock out in this situation here.
You almost get a sense that Ancona could use a breather. Ancona with 19 carries on the evening, 147 yards. Remember, he's also played quarterback and has been fantastic in that spot as well.
So. And he plays defense, and he returns kicks and all that stuff, and sells programs and does it all.
Third down and 7 inside of 10 seconds, and a timeout called by Clearview here. So looks like they just kind of used up a little bit more clock, maybe a miscommunication. They thought they could run the clock out.
I think that's right. I think that's 100% right. Now, here's the issue, is because now that takes one away from the end of the game.
Yep, absolutely.
So teams usually like to save it as much as they can because you can use 3 timeouts, and that's going to minimize the clock usage on a drive. We always figured that if you don't use a timeout, a 4-play drive or a 3-play drive takes 2 minutes off the clock. So that's what you're looking at, especially now that high school has adapted to college rules. There used to be high school went 25 seconds all the time.
Okay.
Now it's if the ball is if it's not an incompletion, well, it could still be an incompletion, but if it's not a penalty after a penalty or whatever, the clock's at 40. And we're trying, hopefully getting New Jersey to the point where they'll go to the college play clock because it's so much easier for the players, but right now the expense is just too much when it comes down.
Yeah, that's always a concern. You know, it's the same thing we talked earlier in the year about using instant replay. But
yeah, it's a nice tool, but it comes with a price.
So Clearview here on 3rd down at 7. And the handoff, it's Black. Black throws underneath and just dumps it. And that'll bring up a 4th down with 1 second left in this 4th quarter. So a little trickery, but it does not work as Black gets pressured and throws incomplete.
Yeah, and that's the shame. I mean, the play that was drawn up was a nice play because you expect Conan to be running the ball in that time, and the ball was to get the ball out, try to get extra yards. And with a little bit of pressure, sometimes you make tough plays.
Well, they say that was, in fact, it for the 3rd quarter. We'll step away. It's round 1 of the Group 4 playoffs. Millville on top of Clearview, 24-17. Your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. Welcome back to Clearview High School. Clearview forced to punt it away here to start this 4th quarter. They trail by 7. Again, the question is, do you punt it to the Shields?
Well, I think in this situation, when you're backed up in here, I think you have to take a chance in this situation because you don't want to give Millville too short of a field. I mean, he's standing right, Shields is standing right at the 45 by himself. I think you angle the kick towards the sidelines.
40 yards away from the line of scrimmage. You don't see that very often. That shows you just how good of a punter he is. It's a high, short kick, and DeShields takes it at his own 42. Breaks 1 tackle. DeShields still on his feet, and now he's going to be met by a host of Pioneers. And finally, the whistle blows.
So good coverage right there by Clearview. DeShields was trying to shake and bake and do whatever he could to get an opening, and there just was nothing there. Some of the keys in that to your special teams that you spend practice on, especially on one punting situation, is to make sure the coverage is well. You always have to protect the outside. You always have to protect your area, and it's easy, a little bit easier now because the center can't be blocked.
Yeah.
So and I understand that for safety reasons, but that does help for coverage.
Ball spotted at the 40-yard line. Millville has enjoyed great field position throughout the evening. They've taken advantage. They have the 7-point lead, 11:43 left. Robbins has been very efficient as a quarterback. He has Allen in the backfield, and he'll give it to Allen. Allen bouncing off 1 tackle and cut down at about the 35.
Well, I think we mentioned earlier in the first half, and it certainly came true, this is a character defensive thing for Clearview. They have to get the stop here. They can't afford Millville to get in the end zone. Here's our Allen run again, as you can see, and it's just a great athletic ability to get down. He found his yardage and got every inch that he deserved.
You mentioned before Allen offered by Temple. 17 carries on the night. He has been their workhorse. Again, quick screen. And it's DeShields. DeShields breaks a tackle, still on his feet. DeShields, now they're trying to strip the football. He's just carrying the pile forward. And it's finally DeShields brought down all the way down to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and that's the situation. The play that they run is very, very close to being illegal. I mean, it's legal that they send the player out to block the defensive back to hit Collins. As long as hit DeShields, I'll get it right here. The situation with that is the pass has to be behind the line of scrimmage.
182 yards passing tonight for Robbins, and I'll give it once again to Allen. Allen tries to go outside tackle. Not a whole lot there, maybe 2 or 3.
So it'll be interesting. Thomas told us before the game.
Penalty flag on the field, by the way, and this will certainly change the complexion of this series.
And it's going to be a hold. You're right. That he has a kicker. But
he almost, I felt like he was winking a little.
Yeah, I think he was too. Because he had a hard time remembering the name of the kicker. So
he may have been thinking about a kicker he used to have.
Yeah, when he played at Salem, they never kicked.
No.
So
and that's
yes. How about that?
So penalty on the field, 10:42. The clock says. The
Now, what happens, and that's a very interesting point, because in college, there's always somebody who watches the clock to make sure that everything gets done. If not, that's a huge advantage in the hands of Millville.
Yeah, the clock continued to run despite the penalty flag. So that in and of itself works to the advantage of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, and then we're thinking it's probably closer to the 14 seconds of time that came off.
It's first down and 24 yards to go.
So, but I don't think anyone noticed it, and I think it's going to stay where it is.
Except our crack staff.
Yeah, they're good.
Our own Stan Ritter. Johnny on the clock.
Now they're coming over now. I think they were going to make a clock adjustment.
So they give him 20 additional seconds. 11:02 is the magic number. So 20 seconds back on the clock. It'll be 1st and 21 for the Thunderbolts.
So again, if you're Millville, the clock is your buddy. I mean, anything you can run off the clock is a great situation.
Yeah.
And conversely, for Clearview, it's the opposite.
Yep. Robbins back to pass, has a lot of time. Robbins now will throw an outlet, finds his man, and that is Collins. Collins dances and now cuts it against the grain. Collins just kind of freelancing. Collins still on his feet. Collins across the 20. Collins going towards the end zone. Collins, touchdown!
Oh my goodness gracious. That's a highlight film where that Collins was trapped at least 3 times.
Shaymore Collins doing it all by himself.
And his 3rd touchdown of the night. And that is a backbreaker for Clearview.
You see the Thunderbolts band, and we have a player shaking up on the field. Shaymore Collins zigging and zagging. Looked like an Etch-a-Sketch out there.
Yeah, that's for
and
sure.
Finally found his way into the end zone.
Let's take a look and see exactly, watch this maneuver again. It's just there was nobody open. Collins was not the primary receiver. He's the checkoff receiver. He gets the ball, heads to the left. Let's see. Fakes out number 1, goes back towards the opposite way, and now just, breaks inside, breaks outside, breaks a tackle there, knows where he is on the sidelines, touchdown. Wow. And he would have scored in 2-hand touch.
Again, a player shaking up on the field, and as you mentioned, that is truly a backbreaker. It's now a 2-score game.
Correct. And I think one of the hardest things is Clearview is usually not a big play team.
Right.
So I have perfect confidence that Clearview will score again, and it looks like the injured player may be Mike Ancona. If that's the case, boy, that will really take some heart out of the Pioneers. And it is, but he looks like he's going to be okay.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, very good sign. Such a good player. You don't want to see anything happen, because he will definitely play more football. There's no doubt about it.
So now it will be Millville to attempt the extra point. We'll see whether they opt to go for 1 or 2.
Well, checking some things out here. It looks like there might be a change, because it looks like Clearview is lining up.
So I guess they're saying there's a penalty on the field. We had no
indication. Okay.
So that touchdown will not count. It must have been deep because it's first down. So it was after the first down was accomplished.
This is actually, there was a penalty called as a dead ball after the touchdown. So this is on the 2-point conversion. So the situation now is it's going to come on from the 18-yard line. That would have been probably an unsportsmanlike or a taunting penalty that would have knocked it back 15 yards. Now, it's interesting. In college, you get a choice. You could either take the penalty on the extra point, or you could take it on the kickoff.
Right.
So, if I had that same situation, I'd want it on the kickoff, because then they're kicking off from the 25-yard line.
Sure.
But who knows? It may work.
We had a dead ball foul, so another 5 yards. This would be one heck of a long 2-point conversion.
Yeah, exactly.
Millville on top, 30-17. Robbins back to pass. Throws to the corner, has a man. It's the Shields, and he comes down with it.
And he caught that in front of two people, in between two people, which just shows two things. The concentration that he has is excellent, and the throw was perfect.
Wow. I mean, what can you say about that?
It's just, sometimes you got to tip your hat and say, he's better. Watch this again. It's just sure, one-on-one, send down. Robbins puts the ball up and says, Solomon, go get the football. And he catches it between two people. Tremendous, tremendous effort right there. That's what makes a Division I football player.
Well, you mentioned that touchdown broke their back. If that didn't, that 2-point conversion did. I mean, that really goes to the heart of your defense.
And now you're looking at it, when you score, 2 7-point TDs isn't good enough. So you have to at least get 1 2-point conversion somewhere along the line and keep Millville away from getting first downs.
Again, we've seen that Clearview most effective when they are able to run the ball, then counter, mix it up a little bit with a pass, maybe by surprise, Ancona. Now you're really forced to go to the air consistently.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And because the answer is right now, Clearview has to score every time they have the ball. There's no option. They can't have a 3 and out. They have to score every time they have the football.
And looks like a timeout is called here by perhaps Millville. I didn't get an indication. Yes, it's going to be a Millville timeout. So Coach Thomas is going to want to talk things over. Again, the one thing if you're Millville, you want to stay away from is a touchdown on the kickoff.
Correct. That's a very, very good point, because you want to make them, if they have to score a touchdown, use up as much clock as they can. The clock is your buddy. And if the worst thing that is a kickoff return, because that's going to take maybe 10, 15 seconds off the clock, and you're going all over again. So I think they're talking about, do we kick it deep? Do we kick it on sides and go play defense? I guess the thought in me is you kick the ball deep.
Yeah.
That's the situation for me. When we talk about a game with twists and turns.
Yeah. So Millville will kick it away now with the 15-point lead. Momentum has changed considerably, as has the score. It's a short kick taken outside the 20-yard line. Driving forward and finally cut down at the 40. First down and 10 Pioneers. Excellent field position. Black the return, and Clearview will try to mount a drive and try to do so relatively quickly.
Yeah, that's the key to success is your game plan of controlling the clock and scoring after a 7-minute drive like they did in the beginning of the third quarter is out the window, because if it takes them 7 minutes, there's only 3 left, and you better hope for an onside kick then.
You know, sometimes when you win a championship, it's all about matchups, and you know, this is going to be a tough matchup for either team.
Absolutely, positively. Of course, the winner of this game gets Shawnee. Shawnee's playing Neptune, and the game's relatively close right now.
Ancona throws, and that falls incomplete. We do have a penalty flag here. See who this is against.
And it looks like it might be a hold on the defensive back on the receiver.
So it is against Millville.
Yeah, it's interesting. Aside from the pros, in high school football, pass interference is a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
So a lot of defensive backfield coaches that I knew said, if you get beat, tackle them.
Yeah, sure.
So the worst thing's going to happen is they're going to get penalized 15 yards. And that's definitely what it was.
So quickly they are across midfield at the 45-yard line, and again with little time off the clock stops as a result of the incomplete pass. First down, Black, your quarterback, with Ancona, and Black fumbles the ball. Ancona comes up with it, bounces off a tackle, and he's dropped for a loss of 5.
Yeah, it's very difficult. The things you don't need in that situation. Again, Bob, you hit it a lot. It's cold out there, and sometimes that snap, when it comes hard up from the center and hits those cold hands, it just doesn't grip.
So Ancona, his last 2 carries has gone backwards. He was at 149 yards. He's down to 142 on the night. He's carried the football 20 times. He'll sleep well tonight.
He certainly will, and he certainly impressed me that he can definitely play at the next level.
Black again, your quarterback, hands to Ancona. Ancona up the middle. Ancona across the 40, driving forward, still on his feet. Ancona stretches out for the first down. Boy, that says everything you need to know about Mike Ancona.
Yeah, I was going to say that's never give up, determination, and just refuse. Well, we like to say refuse to lose, or here refuse to give up. Watch this again, just a quick hitter up the middle. And I watch this at the end. He is tackled right there at about the 38, and he brings it all the way down to the, the 34-yard line. So he got 4 extra yards on pure effort.
There's a delay on the field, not sure why that is. Looks like they're just waiting for the call to come in. Clock continues to move. We're inside of 9 minutes now. First down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Black with Ancona behind him. Black rolls to his left, looks to throw, and he is swallowed up by the Millville defense. A fine rush by Elijah Edwards.
Yeah, he's a sophomore, and he did absolutely right. He put his arms up in the air and just closed down on the quarterback. Watch, Black rolls. They're going to try to look at some type of throwback, but never a chance for Black to throw the football. Great job by Edwards. Way to bring the tackle down from the shoulders down.
Let me tell you something, Fred. They got a lot of talented sophomores on this
I'm telling you. And again, if they practice them well and they do all the things right, that's only going to carry over to next year.
Yep. Millville's putting together a team that is a force to be reckoned with, this program. Second down and 19. And again,
timeout Clearview
called by the Pioneers.
And that's their second, so they only have 1 remaining. So it almost indicates to me that if Clearview can score on this drive, you may have to onside kick.
You know, we look ahead. If Millville comes away with the victory here, you almost kind of like Millville's chances against Shawnee, just because I think this program feels like they owe Shawnee one.
Yeah, I think that's a point. And I think they have the skills and the ability, because they can throw, they can run. The Shawnee's another team that doesn't like to make a lot of mistakes, but they played a skilled team in Woodrow Wilson and lost 48-0.
How about that game?
I just can't imagine a Timmy Gashu team losing 48-0.
No, that does not happen often.
Sometimes, you know, we always know that every team plays. I used to call it a stinker. Mm-hmm. You play when nothing goes well, and mistakes happen, and they snowball, and the next thing you know, it's an ungodly score. But I really thought Clearview had a good matchup with Shawnee. I thought they were similar teams. I think what you said earlier tonight, I think this is a tough matchup for them.
Yeah.
Because of the athletic ability that Millville has.
Yeah, the difference in styles.
Yeah.
Second down and 19, as you see, 8:02 left. Clearview trying to respond. Again, it's Black who rolls. Black throws deep, has a man open. It's McCullough, and it's in and out of his hands.
Yeah, that was the play they needed, because that was going to put them down inside the red zone. But again, sometimes when you're open, it's the hardest thing to do is to make the catch.
Well, we saw that with West Effort a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, we sure did. That was the ball game right there. It was a great throw, and sometimes you just can't bring it in.
Well, Black is 0 for 3 on the night, and certainly that throw, no fault of his own.
By the way, West Effort responded. They scored 114 points in the last 2 weeks.
Well, not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Black and Kona, a little razzle-dazzle. Now, deep throw, looking, and
it's got to be a penalty
on
right
the
there.
Play is Black. So.
Yeah, that's pass interference. I mean, I guess there's what I just said. He went by it, push him down.
Yep.
Pretty interesting play where the toss goes to Ancona, who you think is going to get the ball, and then he tosses the ball back.
This is great work by our cameramen here.
Well, watch
great
this.
Look off of the throw, and
we get
kind
to see
of
the penalty.
It was kind of a look of the Philly special, but on a wider scale here.
Yeah, but very, very interesting in the fact that the receiver was open, and again the defender just pushes him right down. So he lives to fight another day. So it's down to the 29. There's still 7 minutes on the clock, but Clearview has to get themselves into the end zone.
You know, Millville continues to give up large chunks, and you say, well, it's okay, better than a pass interference. But before you know it, Clearview's knocking on the door.
Absolutely.
Ancona underneath center here. A different look for the Pioneers. They've had Black under center the last few plays. Ancona again will roll to his left and a look to carry. Ancona cuts it inside, slung down after a short pickup.
And again, win there for Millville because it now takes the ball to 4th down, and the clock is continuing to run. So this, in all essence, as we watch it again, Ancona on the play that's been the most successful for them today, with that little waggle look, with his guard out in front of him. Just that's a very, very sure tackle made outside by Millville.
You know, you mentioned the difference between the pro game where pass interference is a spot foul. On top of it, it's an automatic first down. Here it is not.
Yeah, so
because he was sacked, that brought up a 3rd down. It's now 4th down, and this
that's a good point.
May be the football game. Clearview probably needs to come away with a first down here if they hope to change their fortunes. And again, I think it looks like another timeout call.
Yeah, and I think rightfully they just realized the exact same thing that you said. This is probably the football game.
Yeah.
That if they don't get the first down in here, they'll be out of timeouts. Millville can just manipulate the clock. But it's very interesting. Something I didn't realize that I saw, there was a pass interference penalty because of the sack. It wasn't a first down.
That's right. So, Fred, let's talk playoff football here.
Okay.
Before you meant we talked a little bit about Group 4, given the fact that we are doing a Group 4 game. Group 1 earlier, you know, I'm a Willingboro guy.
Yeah. No,
you mentioned that Willingboro, you think maybe they may be the team
I do. And I think the thing that has really impressed me about Willingboro is in the last 2 weeks they played Camden and Wilson and beat them both.
Yeah. How about the job Steve Everett's done?
Well, it's funny. I talked to the people in the coaching profession, and he's a first-class guy.
Yeah.
He brought discipline into the program, and he's attracted the athlete that wasn't going out for Willingboro football back out.
Yeah.
And you just have to give him all the kudos in the world.
All right, here we go. 4th down and 3. We'll talk some of the other groups in a little bit. Black in motion. Ancona rolls against the grain, throws, has a man wide open across the 20. It's Black. Bangs through one man and drives down to the 5.
And when we show this play, the most impressive thing about Ancona is he had to throw the ball across his body.
Yep.
He's rolling out to the right. They decided to go out to the wide side, or what they call throw into the field. Watch this again. He comes up now. He has to set up. He's got to set up, and it's just like a toss. And the receiver is wide open and able to make a nice little bit of contact down there and get down into the 5-yard line. Now they've got an opportunity.
Ancona, and he's hit immediately.
Boy, that
gets
was
back to the line of scrimmage.
That was just a great tackle.
Again, you got to credit Ancona for holding on to that football, and at least getting back to the line of scrimmage. Ancona, no yards there, but Ancona on the night has accounted for 262 yards of offense, and that doesn't even take into account a special teams play.
Yeah, and he had close to 1,500 yards total offense coming into this game. So just what a senior year for Mike Ancona. Missed out on that. Elijah Edwards, great tackle there for Millville.
2nd and goal at the 5. It's Black under center. Black looking for his first completion of the night. They'll hand off. It's the other Black. Black ranges outside, and he's cut down just shy of the end zone. Vonzel Rivera with a fine tackle as Troy Black was denied the end zone.
And that is exactly right, because when that play was happening on the outside, it sure looked like Black was going to get in. Watch it. I thought sure he was going to get inside because number 12 comes from the free safety
area. Quick snap, touchdown.
That's all right.
Clearview answers back.
All right, now the most important thing now is you kick the extra point this time. You do not go for 2 now. You kick the extra point that keeps you within 1 score. It will make it 32-24. And then you're almost at the point now where you're probably going to have to onside kick because you have no timeouts remaining. Yes, you can kick the ball deep or keep them or kick to the side, but now you got to rely on your defense to make a 3 and out.
So Ancona, the 2-yard touchdown with 5:24 left, and now the point after is good. So it is 32-24, and again, you think about that 2-point conversion What a difference
that was. Huge. That's huge when you see it. We watch it again. Watch, it's just a quick snap. And that's great football. The safest play down in that part of the end zone is a direct snap under center and just go ahead where you see an opening. Yeah, you're right, because that suddenly now means that Clearview has to get the ball, they have to score, and they have to get a 2-point conversion.
And you think about it, again, they have just Hunter Logan's such a fine kicker. They score a touchdown. They deny that 2-point conversion. They're going to win that football game.
That's correct.
And it changes the complexion of everything. Again, this is a situation with 5:24 left. If you can stop Millville, you have more than enough time to come back and tie this game. But again, you have to execute that 2-point conversion. Yeah. It just increases the level of difficulty.
And all good teams in Clearview and Millville are a part of it. You practice those 2-point plays. Mm-hmm. You practice them all season because you never know when you're going to need them. Usually you put the ball in the hash mark so you create a nice wide opening. The most important thing right now, we'll see what Clearview decides to do. You can see Dennis Thomas has the hands team in, and he's got everybody up there. He's expecting it to be an onside kick. Now, some teams, like when they see this in the hand, they like to drop the ball right off into the corner to the left-hand side, like a pooch kick, and tell everybody to run down and get the ball.
Well, we've seen that work for Millville by accident, essentially, earlier in the first half, and that allowed them to score that second touchdown. So here's the kick, and it's going to go deep into the end zone. So I'm a little surprised they opted to kick it all the way into the end zone.
I guess the only thing you can look at that one is no time comes off the clock.
It's true.
So now you're just saying to your defense, you have to stop them.
Yeah.
Because you have no timeouts remaining. So we said usually a drive, first down in 3 plays is a 2-minute situation. Millville knows what they have to do. They know what the clock, they're looking directly at the clock, which is even better. The quarterback can absolutely watch the clock and figure out exactly what the time is he has to get the ball off.
Now remember that Clearview, they have to stop them relatively early in this drive because they've burnt their timeouts.
Yeah, I think they've got to almost force a 3 and out.
Robbins in the backfield, and he'll hand off, and he is met before the line of scrimmage. Looks like they'll give him forward progress right to the line of scrimmage, and that's Allen.
And that's what you want. Now, Millville keeping smart. They said the clock when it was made ready for play was 5 minutes and 10 seconds. They do not have to run the play off now until 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Millville has been working quickly, and they do it again. Here's Allen. Allen. And he ranges across the 26-yard line.
And we have a penalty on the field, and this could be huge because that run, it almost came up to the first down.
Holding against Millville.
Yeah, that's huge, and that means that'll go back from the spot of the hold and go back 10 yards.
It looks like it's at about the 22, so that would put it back to the 12-yard line, which would mean it would be a 2nd down and 18. And again, this is where you have to make decisions as a coach. Do we throw the football in case of an incomplete pass and stops the clock? But you get a sense he's going to probably throw one of those high percentage inside screens.
It makes sense, and he's been Robbins has been so accurate with those throws.
I'm just surprised that they snapped the ball so quickly.
Yeah, it's just you're not used to it, I can imagine.
Robbins fakes the handoff, and again, he's going to throw. That's a dangerous pass, but he finds Allen in the flat. Allen cut down from behind, and that's a fine play made by Jonah Mace.
Yeah, it was, because that play was destined for big yardage and guaranteed a first down. It now sets up the most important play of the game for Clearview. Watch this again. It's a very dangerous play because it looked like it was a run. He just puts the ball up for grabs, but it's great. Watch this rundown for our young players. That's exactly how you do it, and then you make the tackle and bring them down.
I tell you, Robbins doesn't only have a strong arm. He's shown some nice touch tonight.
Yeah, it's almost like Devin Leary touch. This is the ball game right here.
3rd down and 10. Robbins rolls, has a man wide open. It's caught. 1st down. Shamor Collins has been doing Shamor and more all night long.
Yeah, he's been he's probably been one of our 2 stars of the game. There's no doubt that with 3 touchdowns, a big catch right there. Figure now, when we watch again, it's great decision here made by Robbins. Puts the ball right on the money, and the receiver is wide open.
266 yards now on the night for Robbins. He has been something special. Inside handoff into the secondary, and a big run, the biggest of the night for Allen.
And that may have been the dagger to the heart right there, because now we're down to a little bit over this. They've stopped the clock to move the chains, but there's 3.5 minutes left. You're going to have at least 2 minutes of time during this drive because Clearview could not stop the clock. I think the pass has probably put them away for the night, and it's just hold on to the football.
20-yard carry puts Collins up to 81 yards. Excuse me, Allen up to 81 yards. So now Millville will slow it down a little bit.
No, it's very interesting right now. I think you use the clock. He's looking right at it. He knows what he has to do. And just hand the ball off. Another first down wraps it up, and I think they almost have it now.
Collins stretches all the way down to the 35-yard line. He'll be a yard short. Collins up to 90 yards, hoping to breach the century mark. Again, Millville seems like they're in a hurry for no particular reason.
Yeah, because he's looking right at the clock, and he knows it. I think he's watching that back judge now. The back judge is standing at the 20-yard line. You'll see him put his hand up there when it starts the 5-second count. That's when you snap the ball.
Inside of 2:30 left.
There's the count. There's the snap.
And Rivera, he'll lose yards.
Yeah, and again, now 40 seconds coming off. So the clock's going to go down to just about 1:35 before they really have to run a play.
And the tackle for Clearview is number 69, Julian Walford, who also the player.
Just sit back for Robbins, wait till the back judge makes that call, and then you run the play.
We mentioned before, Clearview forced to burn timeouts earlier just to kind of settle the team, and this is where it's coming back to bite them.
Yeah, absolutely.
3rd down and 3, no timeouts left, clock moving, handoff inside, and driving towards the sideline, stretching. That should be enough for the first down. Clock continues to move.
And that's the ball game. They can realistically now, with 40 seconds per play, because of the fact that the back stayed in bounds, that's the football game.
This is where you go to victory formation.
Absolutely. Don't take any chances. I'll tell you so, we had ourselves a good one today, though.
Yeah, it was
a great football game.
Tremendous football game. Clock continuing to move, 1:10 left. Again, essentially victory formation here. Can take a knee, and ball is down.
So I'll have to do that one more time. Yeah.
Millville will advance to take on the winner of the Shawnee game. Let's quickly talk about Group 2. Who do you like?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think there's anybody that can beat West Deptford.
Yeah.
I think they're the best team that's out there. I hear a lot about Hillside. Hillside's undefeated. They're supposed to be good, but I think West Deptford's the best team in that group. Group 3, I hear tremendous things about Wall. I hear Wall is very, very, very good. But you can never count out Woodrow Wilson because they can score so many times. I think this one is, Millville has as good a chance as anybody.
I agree.
No, I don't think there's any doubt.
Chances. I'll tell you what, Millville walks away with a 32-24 victory, your Group 4 first-round playoff victors here on your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. Let's first talk a little bit about Clearview because you have to credit them. I mean, down quickly 16-0, come back and take the lead. Showed a lot of resilience. Mike Ancona really the story tonight, and this is a football team that has a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, they do, and I think when Coach Scanlon was talking about when you came into your first game and you had 3 kids that played last year any kind of football, and you ended up going 7-3 for the year, I think it's a credit to what he's done and how he's developed the program.
Yeah.
That Clearview is going to be a team year after year is going to be good, and they're always going to play Clearview football, which is tough football.
Talk about a coach, developing a program. How about Dennis Thomas?
Yeah, he's just You know, and again, we always said the teams are reflexive of the coach, and that's Dennis Thomas. He's so much enthusiasm. He's disciplined. He sat down his seniors in a game against St. Joe's because of things that he didn't like.
Yeah.
So it shows that he has the qualities that are necessary to be successful and win. And you know what? He's just a likable guy, too.
He is. Well, again, we had a tremendous football game once again. Your final score here from Clearview, it was the Millville Thunderbolts advancing in the Group 4 playoffs, defeating Clearview 32-24, your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. For my partner, Fred Swartz, my director, Stan Ritter, and all the crew, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks again for joining us. Good night, everybody.